Congratulations, you're pregnant! Did you just see those two pink lines and are wondering what to do next? You've come to the right place. My name is Monique, and this is your Tuesday tip. If you just find out that you are pregnant and are scrambling around trying to figure out what is the first thing you're supposed to do, I have 3 ideas for making your pregnancy run a little bit smoother. Number 1, you're going to want to find a healthcare provider that shares your values. What does that mean? You have a couple of options as a pregnant person. You can see an OB, a family practice doctor, or a midwife if you're in the States. Outside of the States, there are other options such as a naturopathic doctor. But we're going to focus on those 3 things for now. What's the difference though? An OB takes care of just the women. And what that means is you're gonna see an OB through your whole pregnancy year and probably during your entire childbearing years. They are able to do surgery if you need it or not if you don't need it. An OB is the common doctor that you would see in pregnancy. That's who you'll see on TV basically. But there are also family practice doctors. If you've been seeing a family practice doctor and don't really want to leave him or her because you just really feel comfortable with that person, see if they deliver babies. Some do. Some are even able to do cesarean sections if you need one. So that'd be a really nice person for you to just have a nice continuation of care. But then there's a thing called a midwife, and a midwife is an advanced practice nurse. He or she has been a nurse, usually worked on labor and delivery for a little while, and then continued their education in grad school. Like a doctor, they take care of the birthing women through the childbearing years. So pregnancy, you had a baby, then you can go back to see that person. One of the biggest differences are midwives take care of low-risk women. Doctors take care of low and high-risk women. Midwives cannot perform surgery. Doctors can. So you definitely want to look at your health situation. You want to go on the interwebs, do some research, see who's in your area, who takes your insurance, and what works for you. Maybe you're the midwife kind of gal. Maybe you're the family practice kind of gal. Maybe you're the OB kind of gal. Either way, that's your choice. That's your decision. Number 2, you really want to do some research into where exactly you're going to deliver. It doesn't have to be the hospital, believe it or not. There are things called birthing centers. And a birthing center, a true birthing center, is a place that's separate from the hospital, like a different building from the hospital that you just go to give birth. You go, you pop out your baby, you go home. Those are for low-risk moms. The other option are people deliberately plan home births. Again, is this right for you? You have to think about what is the safest place for you and your family to give birth. But while thinking about birthing places and doing your research, you want to look at who takes your insurance, where does your provider go? How easily can you get to this place? Is your chosen place of birth an hour and a half away? Is your chosen place of birth a place that your doctor or midwife doesn't deliver at? You want to think about these things. You want to ask these questions, and then you want to tour these facilities. Because what if it's really scary when you walk in and you just don't feel comfortable? What if it's beautiful, bright, and the beds are like, so you want to look and you want to ask questions. You want to tour these facilities, talk to the nurses who work there, and ask some of your friends and maybe some of your coworkers, hey, I'm going to give birth. What do you think about this hospital? What do you think about that birthing center? And then numero tres is a high-quality childbirth educator. And yes, I'm saying this from a place of being a childbirth educator, but legit, you want to find a person who will educate, inform, and empower you to ask questions, not just of yourself, but of your provider. Your childbirth educator is going to be the person that's going to explain to you first stage, second stage of labor, pregnancy, postpartum, what your newborn's going to look like, your options for feeding your baby. You have a lot of options with a childbirth educator as well. You can go to the hospital and take that 6 or 8 hour class. You can go to a private educator, like a yoga instructor, or an independent childbirth educator who created their own curriculum, or you can see or find a Bradley Method educator, a Lamaze educator. There's Birthing from Within. There are specific styles and methodologies of childbirth education. The reason why it's one of the big three is because when you come to the hospital and you see me and you say, "Hey, Nurse Monique, I'm here in labor. I want to have this baby without an epidural." And I say, "Okay, great. What do you want to do for pain management?" And you say, "I don't know." What you're really saying is, I am 100% not prepared for this. I'm going to end up having a lot of interventions that I really didn't want because I had zero education. So educate yourself, okay? Go to a person who's going to give you information in a methodology and in a way that feels right for you. Because like I said, there are several different methodologies and styles of childbirth education. Find one, ask questions, and then continue to ask those questions of your provider. Those are the top 3 things that I suggest you do right when you find out that you are with child. If you have any other questions or you're like, how exactly do I put this into practice? I did put the link to my website below. I have a free guidebook that it's a workbook. You can write things out and grab your partner and you guys can read through and say, "Oh my God, I didn't even know this is what this meant," or "We should ask our doctor about this," or we should make sure we know where parking is because here's a checklist to take to the hospital tour. I encourage you to use that, and why? Your birth experience matters 125%. I will see you next week for your Tuesday tip.